You wouldn't dare tell her. He smirked, the arrogance dripping from his voice. It would ruin me. I just stayed quiet, letting the silence hang in the air before looking him dead in the eye. Good. The color drained from his face as I pulled out my phone. So, my boyfriend's best friend, let's call him Mark, has always been that guy. You know the one. He's 30, charming, and until recently, his phone was basically a revolving door for Tinder notifications. It was a running joke between us that Mark could go on more dates in a week than I'd been on in my entire life. He never pretended to want anything serious. He was a player, and he was good at it. That's why all of our jaws hit the floor when he told us he was in a real, exclusive relationship with a girl who lived 5 states away. Her name is Sarah, and she is, without exaggeration, an absolute gem. I only met her once, a couple of months ago when she flew in for a weekend. She's one of those people who just radiates warmth, genuine, funny, and she looks at Mark like he hung the moon. We all thought, wow, maybe this is it. Maybe he's finally met the one who makes him want to change. The long distance thing was weird, but they seemed so happy that we all just rooted for them. Last night, my boyfriend and I were just chilling on the couch, watching some dumb reality show. During a commercial, I casually asked, "Hey, how are Mark and Sarah doing? Is she visiting again soon?" He didn't answer right away. He just picked up the remote and muted the TV. The sudden silence felt heavy. "They're fine," he said. But he wouldn't look at me. He just stared at the blank screen. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked. He let out a long sigh. The kind that says, I really don't want to have this conversation. He's still on Tinder. Babe. My brain just kind of short-circuited. For a second, I tried to find a loophole. A less awful explanation. What? Like, he just never deleted the app. Or he's just swiping out of boredom. I could hear the pleading in my own voice. He finally turned to look at me. And his expression told me everything. No. He said. His voice flat. He's actively going on dates. Meeting up with other women here? The pieces clicked into place. And the happy picture I had of them just shattered. This wasn't a dumb mistake or a moment of weakness. This was a calculated, ongoing deception. He wasn't just cheating. He was performing a relationship with Sarah while living his old single life in secret. I felt this hot rush of anger. And you're not gonna say anything to him? Like, really say something. I already did. He said, getting defensive. I told him I disapprove. That it's a messed up thing to do to her. I waited for him to continue. But that was it. That was the end of the sentence. He had lodged his official complaint. And now his duty was done. At that moment, I realized that his loyalty to his best friend, no matter how shitty his friend was being, would always come first. He wasn't going to be the one to blow this up. Now, I'm stuck with this horrible secret. And the worst part, we're all going to a barbecue at a mutual friend's house this weekend. And Sarah is flying in for it. I have to see them together. All happy and perfect. Knowing that the whole thing is a lie. How am I supposed to smile and make small talk with her? Knowing what I know. How do you look a girl in the eye when you know her heart is being completely played with? I honestly don't know what to do. The day of the barbecue arrived with a sense of dread I couldn't shake. The whole drive over, my stomach was in knots. I kept telling myself to just be normal. To act like I didn't know anything. But it felt like I had the words HES cheating on you tattooed on my forehead. We got there. And I could see them across the lawn. Standing with a group of friends. And my heart just sank. It was a complete performance. Mark had his arm draped casually around Sarah's shoulders, pulling her in close every few minutes to kiss the top of her head. He was playing the part of the smitten boyfriend. And he was nailing it. He laughed louder at her jokes. His eyes stayed on her when she was talking. And at one point, I overheard him telling our friend, seriously, isn't she the best? I'm the luckiest guy in the world. The words sounded so genuine that for a split second, even I almost believed him. But I knew the truth. And it made the whole display feel grotesque. Like watching a really well-rehearsed play. Later, I went inside to grab another drink. And Sarah was at the counter, refilling a bowl of chips. We were alone for the first time. She gave me that same warm, open smile I remembered. Hey, I feel like we didn't really get to talk last time. How have you been? She asked. We made small talk for a few minutes. She was just as sweet and engaging as I thought. She asked about my job, about my relationship with my boyfriend, and she actually listened to my answers. The conversation was so easy, so normal. Then, trying to find some common ground, I said something lame like, "It must be tough doing the long distance thing. I don't know if I could do it." She nodded, scooping a stray chip off the counter. "Oh, it's definitely hard," she said, her voice softening. "You have moments where you just miss them so much it hurts. But you know you can make anything work when you trust someone completely. When you have that, the miles don't seem so bad." Her words hit me like a physical blow. I felt the air leave my lungs. All I could do was nod, my smile feeling stiff and fake on my face. Here was this wonderful, kind-hearted woman, pouring her heart out to me, explaining that the entire foundation of her relationship was built on a trust that I knew, for a fact, didn't exist. My mind was racing. What am I supposed to say to that? "That's nice. I agree." Every polite response felt like a betrayal. I mumbled something about needing to find the bathroom and just walked away. Seeing them together, seeing his lie and her sincerity side by side, made it 1,000 times worse. This wasn't just some abstract piece of gossip anymore. This was a real person with real feelings. And I was watching her invest them into a complete fraud. The guilt of my silence was no longer a hypothetical problem for later. It was right there, sitting like a stone in my stomach. And I felt like I was going to be sick. The car ride home from the barbecue was silent. Not a comfortable silence, but a loud, ringing one. The image of Sarah's trusting face was burned into my mind. When we got inside our apartment, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I turned to my boyfriend as he dropped his keys on the counter. "I can't do it," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I can't just stand by and watch this happen." Seeing her, hearing her talk about how much she trusts him, it felt disgusting. Like I was lying to her face just by being there. He leaned back against the counter and rubbed his eyes, looking exhausted. "Babe, we talked about this. It's his life. It's his mistake to make. But it's her heart, isn't it?" I shot back, my frustration bubbling over. "She's the one who's going to get destroyed by this. Don't you feel any responsibility to her?" "My only responsibility is to you. And to not torpedo my best friend's life. Even if he's being a complete idiot," he said, his voice firm and final. "I'm telling you, if you get involved, it will be a mushroom cloud. He'll deny it. She might even believe him. And Mark will never forgive me for you doing it. So if you're going to do something, you're on your own." He didn't say it to be mean. He said it as a fact. He was drawing a line in the sand. And I was on one side, and he and Mark were on the other. So now I'm sitting here on my couch. Hours later, phone in my hand, scrolling through her Instagram profile. I've thought through every possible scenario. And they all end in disaster. If I tell her, how do I even do it? A cold DM from a girl she's met twice. "Hey Sarah. Your boyfriend, who you're in love with, is a scumbag. Best. The girl from the barbecue. She would have every right to think I'm crazy. Or jealous. Or just making it up to cause trouble." Mark would unleash a storm of denials. Paint me as a villain. And she would probably believe him. I would detonate a friendship. Create a permanent rift in my own relationship. And maybe not even help her in the end. But if I don't tell her, the alternative feels just as awful. I have to live with this knowledge. This complicity. I have to go to the next party. And the one after that. And watch this lie grow bigger and bigger. I'll have to watch as she invests more of her time, her love, and her future into a man who is actively betraying her every single week. The thought of her one day finding out on her own, and realizing that people knew, that I knew, and said nothing, makes me feel sick with guilt. So, Reddit. I'm genuinely at a loss. Do I blow everything up for the sake of a truth that might not even be believed, just because it feels like the right thing to do? Or do I mind my own business, respect my boyfriend's wishes, and let her live in a happy lie, knowing that a devastating heartbreak is hurtling her way? What is the lesser of two evils here?